Hello, folks, and welcome to this Outbreak short summary. This is the February 2nd, 2007 Tornadic event. I will be using Tornadic events and Outbreak interchangeably here because the definition of tornado outbreak doesn't have a set in stone definition. You can call an event of 2 to 4 to 6 tornadoes an outbreak, even though it would probably still be more called a tornadic event. This one is a very similar case here. This event is also particularly odd. We actually had instability growing overnight from on the night of the 1st and 2nd of February in Florida, of all places. This actually led to a more or less classic, almost squall line setup in the early morning. With 4 tornadoes happening over the course of 5 hours, 3 of them were caused by just one supercell alone, with a fourth tornado happening later on, and a little bit further south at that, if I'm not mistaken. Totals from this event include 21 deaths, 76 injured, and $218 million in damage. We're only going to be looking at 2 tornadoes here. The first one here is the east of Wildwood to Lady Lake, Florida EF3. This 155 mile per hour EF3 pathed 26 kilometers, reaching roughly 400 meters wide. This tornado was responsible for 8 deaths, 25 injuries, and $114 million in damage. The largest amount of damage occurred in the southern parts of the villages, as well as when it tore through Lady Lake, where it would also destroy a church. In Lady Lake and the southern part of the villages, more than 1,200 homes would be damaged, with 301 of them being destroyed. Pardon me there. Little glitch. Oopsies. The second notable here, our last one, a little bit short, I know, is the southwest of Paisley. That's my dog's name, but I didn't name it after this town, to DeLand, Florida EF3. This EF3 was rated 160 miles per hour strong. It tracked 42 kilometers and was also roughly 400 meters wide. This tornado was responsible for 13 deaths, 51 injuries, and $52 million in damage. This tornado would, as can be seen in the top right, fell a radio tower just as it was entering the town of Paisley. It ripped through the southern portion of the land where the rest of these damaged photos come from. Overall, this tornado would destroy more than almost 200 homes and damage more than 400. This event overall is a little strange. Florida isn't generally known for having tornadic outbreaks, more or less just the occasional tornado. And due to the way that storms generally track over Florida, can, not always, but can lead to greater chances of tornadoes. Why? Because the environment and the atmosphere are very complex. So this is an odd timed event. Early morning February is definitely not what you would expect for any tornadic event, really. This is a pretty rare Floridian tornadic event, despite Florida having one of the highest densities of tornadoes in February. This is also the second deadliest Florida tornadic outbreak. Additionally, and what I found to be most crucial and most interesting, this was the very first use of the enhanced Fujita scale. First, obviously used in 2007, replaced the original Fujita scale that had been used from 1973 to 2006. There is currently, as of November 2024, there is a possibility that soonish, whenever soonish is, that changes might be made to the EF scale. However, those have not happened yet. Technically, you can say that there have been changes, but we're not going to go into the controversies of the EF scale here. So, despite this being a place Florida being a place where we do see the darker shades of red here is not where they're more liberal, sorry, more conservative, although that technically is true in the deep south. It is where the density of tornadoes is greater. Texas, of course, Texas is a pretty darned big place, if I do say so myself. Only the second biggest state. Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, and Florida, of all places, generally have the highest densities of tornadoes in February. Keep in mind that this density of tornadoes is nowhere near what it is for even March, and especially April and May. So take these densities with a slight grain of salt. If you compare February tornado density to March tornado density, it is going to be a lot lesser for February. But still, important to note that these states do see more tornadoes in February compared to other states. Still a rare event, though. With that, folks, that is all that I have for this event. I thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you all in the next one.